Hey everybody, welcome to the Novice Fisherman's Guide to the Florida Keys number 7, where we're going to talk about all the other equipment you need to bring when you go fishing. In prior videos, we reviewed the specific equipment you need to have for the actual fishing. So rods and reels, lines, hooks and weights, bait, and even how to tie knots and where to even find the fish. But today's video, we're going to review the other types of equipment you need to bring in order to not only catch fish, but have a fun time doing it. Many people don't realize it, but the Florida Keys has a very harsh environment. So there are certain precautions you want to take to ensure a pleasant fishing experience. First of all, the sun. We have extremely bright, hot, direct sunlight with not a lot of areas that are going to provide shade. One of the most important things to do is to cover up. So for me, that includes a wide brim hat with coverage for the back so it protects the back of your neck. I also utilize long sleeve shirts, long pants, and then even a neck gaiter which can be used as a mask. Beyond that, I also wear basic water shoes. Now when I go fishing, I know it's going to be around water. A lot of people don't take that mindset, so they dress that they're going to go shore fishing or bridge fishing, and they're not actually going to touch the water. But to be truthful, getting in the water is half the fun, and it also opens up a wider variety of environments to fish. Not to mention, especially like when I'm throwing my cast net, I'm going to be walking in water all the time. And you definitely need protection not only for just cuts and bruises, but also for stings and bites and so forth. To go along with that, we have some chemical protections as well. Like you want a very good quality sunscreen. I use SPF 50 and I have basically sun-friendly darker skin. But still, definitely lather up all those exposed areas, my face, my hands, and so forth. Beyond the sun, we also have bugs, okay? The two prevalent species to beware of are mosquitoes and no-see-ums. Now, most people understand what mosquitoes are. No-see-ums are little biting gnats. Very extremely small. That's why they're known as no-see-ums, okay? And yet they have a very strong bite, and what actually makes it even worse is that a lot of people, more so than just mosquitoes, are somewhat allergic to those bites, and they cause a very severe itchy reaction. So you can have a horrible experience because they come in a fog, just droves of them, where mosquitoes can occasionally come in groups like that, a lot of onesies, twosies, maybe a handful. But with no-see-ums, you can get clouds of them enveloping you, especially any time where you're near the water, beach, mangroves. And lastly, probably one of the most important part is water. Okay, something water-based. More water-based the better. So that excludes the beer ratio. But staying hydrated, okay? Again, it goes back to the same concept of protecting your skin from the sun. You need to protect your insides from the sun as well, because most of the fishing is going to be out in our bright, brilliant, hot, direct sunlight. Not a lot of shade, especially like on the bridges, shore fishing, out on the boats, kayaking. Pretty much everywhere you go fishing, you got to have water to stay hydrated, especially if you're not familiar with the Florida humidity. One piece of equipment that I would highly recommend, and will actually be beneficial not only for fishing, but just for being around in South Florida sunny conditions, is sunglasses. But not just any sunglasses. They specifically need to be polarized sunglasses. This will allow you to see better depth when you're looking into the water, because the way they reduce the amount of glare makes it possible to kind of see depth into the water and see the fish and the bait and the structure that we've talked about previously. Now, this is a pair of $10 polarized sunglasses, and this is a pair of $100 polarized sunglasses. Do you need the $100? No, I fish with the $10 ones all the time, especially for this fun type of fishing. And I also use these for riding around in my motorcycle in everyday use. One way you can tell if sunglasses are polarized, beyond if they say labeled polarized, is that if you have your cell phone or computer, laptop screen, and if you take the sunglasses, you don't have to have them on, just kind of hold them in front of your cell phone and angle them. Turn them 45 to 90 degrees, and you'll see that the shading will change from seeing clearly to darkened. And if it does that, then they're polarized. If you twist and they don't get that different shading, then they're not. But extremely important, highly recommend it. Other items that you're going to want to bring are a knife to like cut bait, cut line, emergency cases, a pair of pliers, which primarily you'll utilize to remove hooks from the fish, but they also have cutters on them as well and for other miscellaneous uses. A pair of scissors come in handy. I find them a little bit easier to use for cutting fishing line and especially braided line. This is my little box that I'm going to bring all my hooks and weights. I don't really utilize a lot of equipment when I know what specific type of fishing that I'm going to do, so it doesn't require me to bring a huge tackle box full of stuff that I'm never going to use. A rag is extremely helpful to have, just to wipe your hands to stay clean. And then some sort of recording device to record all your enjoyment and fun. I also include a cell phone, in this case because I have my fishing license stored on here through the FWC website. So it's an app that you can utilize, and you always have your fishing license as long as you've got your phone. And lastly, you need something to carry all that stuff in. One key thing is less is more. Okay, the less stuff you bring, the more fun it is because it's less stuff that you have to worry about, as well as carry from one spot to another. It's so much easier being able to just grab one bag, walk down, fish. If it's not panning out, you just walk back to your vehicle and you can go to the next spot, versus having to make 2 or 3 trips and get everything sorted out. Try fishing, there's nothing there, then you have to pack all that stuff up to go to the next spot and do the same thing. Or you just give up and just say, too much work, I'm not even going to worry about it, I'm just going to stay here, and then you run the risk of not catching anything. So the stuff that I utilize, and I'm actually going to be utilizing this small little ice chest. Now specifically, the reason why I'm using an ice chest versus this bag is, remember, we're going to be using that frozen style bait, so we need something to keep that cool, and an ice chest will be perfect for that. And it doesn't mean that you can't store the same stuff that we talked about in here, the tackle box, your camera, the rag, the wrench, the pliers, knives, everything will fit perfectly in here. Now then again, if you are planning to keep some fish, you will want to stage up so you have enough room for that. But in general, you saw all the requirements that you need, and a lot of it you don't necessarily have to bring with you from the vehicle, like your sunscreen and so forth. Just bring what you need from that point down to where you're fishing. On the flip side, if you're going to be doing the adventurous style fishing where you're going to be climbing through mangroves and under bridges and all that kind of stuff, sometimes it's convenient to be able to wear all your equipment so you don't have to reach down and you can have your hands free. And that's where a backpack will be coming nicely. So that's all the stuff that we need. Let's go take a look at our mode of transportation. Now, getting around, how do you get to your fishing spots? Luckily in the Keys we're on an island and they're fairly small, so you can start with good old foot power. That'll get you around. Also, plenty of bicycles. You can have one, you can rent one. I've customized mine, so I've got rod holders on there, a basket to carry my stuff. I can utilize my car. Here I've got my kayak all set up. And even my motorcycle's got rod holders, so it's ready to go fishing. So, I think we're all prepared. We've got all of our stuff. Let's go fishing.